righty, would you like to talk about the evening's missed opportunity?
Yeah, what's that?
Takeshita and Darby Allin. They had an opportunity here, but because they have no producers that are allowed to produce and no booker that has a mind of how to present their talent, they both ended up looking like goofs. But this had so much potential. And why didn't they give our friend Take a good name before they introduced him? He'd never been on television before. Nobody'd ever heard of him. He could have been Tojo Yamamoto or Tatsumi Fujinami or Toru Tanaka. He could have been he could have been the Great Muta Jr. He could have been any name in the world because nobody knew who he was. And they expect a Japanese guy whose name is written Take a Shit to get over as a top serious heel in the fucking United States of America. Could they not have given him some kind of cool name that people would actually pronounce and even try to pronounce?
I think we're in the era where the people running the show are the people who love Japanese wrestling, and they think that it would probably be disrespectful. There have been some disasters, like when Okada came over to, TNA, and Vince Russo made him, was it Okado? Where he was in...
I think it was, yes.
He acted like Bruce Lee and...
Well, but you can be respectful without being a fucking business idiot. And nobody is going to be able to ever pronounce Konosuke or is ever going to see Take a Shit without reading it as Take a Shit. So they could have just given this guy a cool name. The Ninja Warrior. I don't give a fuck what. What's the goddamn head of the fucking Japanese Yakuza? Give him that name.
No, you can't do that if he wants to go back home and live there.
Well, who gives a shit, right? They ain't going to see it over there.
Not who gives a shit. Take a shit. Well, not take a shit. Takeshita.
All right, Costello. Anyway, so they started out with good action. Darby Allin is quick and he does his shit well. And you can buy the rolling parkour from him because he looks like some skinny parkour fucking nerd, right? Which he is. And so it works. And Take a Shit is a great athlete. And for his size, he moves well and he's quick. And they do simple things well. Old Take gave Darby a big backdrop. And he can wrestle. They both can do the wrestling stuff. And then Darby tries to do that cannonball dive out of the ring and Take hits him with a knee lift in midair. It was a great spot. And boom, right there, you could have thrown him in, cover 1, 2, kick out. You've got the heat going on Darby, right? But instead of continuing having a match, now they go to the stuntman portion of the program. And Take carries Darby up the ramp and waistlocks him and gives him 2 O'Connor roll-ups on the ramp into a German suplex with a release on the ramp. And Darby takes the bump. Nobody is counted out during all this. Darby is not carried off. Now Take rolls him back in the ring, and he doesn't go for a cover. They go to the break. And in picture-in-picture, he goes for a cover and gets a 2 count. So they started having a good match, and it was good for almost 3 minutes. And then nobody can stop them from sabotaging themselves. And 3 minutes later, when they come back from the break, Darby immediately gives Take a super stone cold stunner off the top rope and does a cannonball dive 3 minutes after he was the victim of a hospitalization angle with a released German suplex on the fucking hard ramp. And then Take tried to give Darby a knee on the floor, but Darby moved and Take flipped over the barrier. And Darby hit him with a coffin drop off the top rope while he was on the floor. So now they just do big moves back and forth to each other. Take gives Darby several Germans, but then Darby is up seconds later going 100 miles an hour with roll-ups and ducks, and then Take clotheslines him out of his shoes. So they started with a good match. They did the stuntman stuff, and now they've gone full indie. It just back and forth relentlessly. Take gave Darby a full German suplex off the top rope, but didn't even cover him. Darby bounced over and rolled up on his knees, and he's on his knees in front of Take, motioning for Take to give him something else. I want some more. Bring it. So Take gives him a running knee and knocks the shit out of him and covers him 1, 2, 3. And what the fuck? Who does these fucking fetishes? My God. The babyface, it not only is beaten flat with no out whatsoever, but he's made to look worse because he's the idiot that asked for it. Not only is he German suplexed off the top rope and still has enough presence of mind to get up on his knees and look at the guy, but then he says, "Is that all you got? Give me some more." So the guy gives him some more. Bam! Bitch slaps him. Knocks him right out, colder than a banker's heart. Beats him 1, 2, 3. So the heel didn't cheat. They beat the babyface flat after Darby not only withstood everything, but did everything he could do. And the babyface is an idiot for kneeling there asking for it, and the heel gets no heat because he just beat a fucking guy up. Who the fuck does these goddamn... Take a shit shouldn't know better. English is a second language. He's just been here a short time. They're not telling him, okay, for your own career and your benefit, you could potentially be a WWE star one day. You have the size and the presence. They're not telling him you need to learn to work a different way for the United States to get over. They're having him do his shit that he doesn't know there's anything wrong with. And Don Callis or any veteran should be helping him. But this is just bad indie wrestling booking. Lost opportunity. What the fuck? I digress. Your thoughts?
That Darby's so tough. That's all I could say. I don't know. He could take a beating and then he just keeps taking that beating. And he kicks out of everything. I like him more than I do most of the roster. I like Takeshita. But this shows
a lot of potential that it could easily be channeled in the right direction.
How many singles matches has he had on TV since he turned heel?
We just remarked that
like the week
we never
after,
saw
right?
him. The
like
week
the
after,
week.
And then we never see him. And then as soon as we remarked we never see him, they gave him this one.
All right.
And he takes him everything he can do to beat a 140-pound guy, but he beats him flat because he's a heel. So naturally he beats the baby faces without cheating. The heel should beat the 140-pound baby face by cheating after not doing everything else he fucking knows that doesn't work. But nevertheless, speaking of bad indie wrestling,